I hereby summon all my imps. Hey everybody, it's Annabelle. So, for anybody who's not been living under a rock, Marvel Snap has come out with a new road for the developers. So we're going to look at the developers' roadmap, go over some of the things that I am worried about it, and talk about some of the things that I'd like them to do with it in the future. Let's pull up the actual roadmap here. Here's the actual roadmap. We're going to go over it in certain situations here that I am not too happy with. So let's start out with the top here on the first bullet point here, which is the PC launch. The PC launch is great. I want this to come out to PC, but one of the things that you've got to do is you've got to make sure that when you come out with PC launch, that you are good to rock and roll. Because you only have one chance to make that first impression. When PC launch comes out, that's your greatest chance to grab somebody to do something. And right now, there's some stuff that's even in development and in concept that I think that you need to work on before you actually even go to PC launch. Like, I think it's important that you have some social systems in. Maybe not the guilds already, but you need to have a way to at least like have a friends list or something like that. You also really need to improve what happens on the seasons. So, there's some stuff even in concept that I would really rather they worked on before they go live on the PC, which would be like the social systems and the season journey improvements. Some stuff in development, like the personalized shop, would be interesting for them to actually get taken care of. But the rest of that is pretty okay. Next thing that is on this coming soon page is the Twitch drops. Twitch drops are great. Twitch drops are nice. If they do it like Hearthstone does their Twitch drops, then that's fantastic. Anybody who's ever seen Twitch drops with Hearthstone, anybody who makes content with the client, so in this case, anybody who makes content for Marvel Snap would be able to do the Twitch drops. You just run the drops on your site for about an hour or two, depending on what the quest is or what the requirements are, and you can have people pick it up from your site. Now, if they leave it like that, that'll be awesome. If they make some sort of requirements behind it, like you need to have X amount of viewers, or X amount of time in the game, or be some form of affiliated program, that's not going to be great. Seasonal audio. I want seasonal audio. It's interesting to have seasonal audio. If each and every season had one track that was a seasonal track for that particular season, it would make it interesting as long as they rotated from time to time. Yes, hearing the same music every single game gets a little bit boring. But I don't want the seasonal track to be annoying also. Maybe somewhere in the future they could add like a record album where you can pick the tracks that you like to listen to. So if you're like, man, I like this track, then you can use that as one of your tracks that you actually want to listen to. Card upgrade improvements. Now this one is where I'm going to be talking about a lot. So card upgrade improvements really aren't improvements as far as I can see it. The two things that they're talking about upgrading and card upgrade improvements are multi-upgrades and upgrading with gold. To talk about multi-upgrading, yeah, that's a nice little quality of life feature. And it's nice to select, hey, I want to go straight to mythic rarity, and maybe you can even put in something like split it until I get a foil, or split it until I get an ink. But, that's just saving you a couple clicks. And sometimes you actually like to see where you are and figure out, do I have credits? Do I want to go an extra 10 steps when all I need to go is 2 steps to get to the next spotlight cache? But that's just a simple quality of life change. The one that really upsets me and really gets me going here is the upgrade with gold. So upgrade with gold means there's going to change two different things. First of all, you're going to be able to buy boosters with gold. And secondly, you're going to be able to buy credits with gold. And here's the thing. Boosters and credits with gold are such a waste of gold. Okay, so for anybody who doesn't know, on the main page, if you go to the main page on the screen, they used to have a page down here at the bottom here where you could buy credits for gold, and they actually had a smaller increment than this 500. They used to have one that was 150, which you could buy for 120 gold, which is what you actually get if you do a refresh on the mission. So, if you're trying to get credits, if they are charging you more than 20 gold for 25 credits, you're getting ripped off. Even if they charge you 20 gold for 25 credits, you're kind of getting ripped off. Because it's better to hit this button for the 120 gold. Because that'll give you exactly 150 credits. Which is 20 gold per credit. For 25 credits, I should say. But you'll also get a little bit of your XP for doing your track up here. So, if you need a little bit of push down the season pass, you're losing out on that little bit of season pass upgrade that you get from buying the credits from the actual refreshing of the missions. For boosters, it really upsets me because at one point they were talking about doing booster magnets. And for all of you who don't know what a booster magnet is, I made a little kind of quick sketch up here. So if you look at Sunspot here on my little quick sketch up, you'll see that now Sunspot has a little arrow on it that looks green. Off, on, off, on. And all you do is you click on Sunspot, you'd have a button maybe about here, that's right next to the remove from deck that would just say, put booster on. And once you clicked it, it would put a little booster on it. And you would have one per deck. And all it would do is it would do the same thing that Agatha does. Anybody who's ever played with Agatha will know that any boosters that you get through a game played with Agatha, no matter where she is, in your deck, all the boosters go straight onto her. They use the same technology you have for Agatha, you just pin it on somebody else. The reason that it upsets me is because at one point they were talking about adding booster magnets to the game. And with this change in the developer or a map, I cannot see a reason that they would ever add booster magnets, because now they've created a way for you to spend gold to get boosters. Why would I give away boosters for free? Or let you target where boosters are going? Even though that would be the solution. If you're missing a few boosters for Wolfsbane, put the magnet on Wolfsbane and then play a game or two and you would have it. But then you're not going to pay the gold to get it. Now, with this system that's set up, you're going to be tempted to go buy a booster on it. Because the RNG of which character to fall on is too high without a booster. But it's the only way you're going to convince people to really put money into this game. Because otherwise, it'd be way too easy to get boosters on the exact character that you want to. You're short by even 500 boosters. Go play like 3, 4, 5 more games and get those 500 boosters. Also, this is a weird thing to put as a price item. Because, in my opinion, boosters are the least wanted, least cared about item in the entire game. I mean, do you really want to waste your valuable gold that you only get so much of on boosters, where if you just play the game randomly, if you just play the game normally, you should have boosters that aren't stacked up? So that's the one that worries me the most, is this card upgrade improvement. Conquest Polish I talked about yesterday, and the OTA patch is actually out live. It's going to come in the next revamp, which will be on Tuesday. Basically everything in Conquest, you're going to be getting a little bit more gold from every single Conquest, for the most part. Hopefully they don't raise the shop to adjust for that. They keep the shop where it's at, but raise all the gold that you get from winning in Conquest, then it'll be fine. But if they raise the price as an addition to raising how much you get, then you're basically in the same boat. This particular Conquest run, I barely made it. The Conquest is ending in a couple days, and I barely had enough time to get every unique reward from Conquest, and I play Conquest on a pretty relative basis, so you might want to adjust how hard it is to get everything from Conquest, because nobody should be dedicating 12, 15 hours a day to Conquest just to get these rewards. Infinite Rank Revamp, I don't know really what they're going to do with Infinite Rank Revamp. I don't know what you could do that would make it exciting. But we can go over what they're talking about for it. But even if you make Infinite... Well, here's the problem. There's such a divide between being infinite and non-infinite. And the problem that you used to have was, as soon as somebody became infinite, they would start chumping their deck. They basically lose RMR or slide down on the rail. Then they fixed that, but then there was people who were still doing it to try to get other people off the infinite. And then they made infinite its own separate category, as opposed to being non-infinite. But the problem now that you have is, a lot of times once you hit that infinite, you have no reason to move forward. I'm sure there's people out there who want to be infinite rank 2, infinite rank 3, infinite rank 12, whatever. They could have prestige levels if they wanted to. But without adding any extra reward to that, does anybody really want to do that? And if they are going to add a reward to it, how good do those rewards have to be? I mean, if you make it so that you have to go to Infinite Rank 2 to get all the good rewards, then is that punishing everybody who can't even make it to Infinite Rank 1? How much time do you have to dedicate to being Infinite Rank 2? But then if you don't make the rewards good enough, who wants to do it? I'm really not sure how they can revamp the Infinite Rank. It's a problem that I see for the foreseeable future. With once you hit Infinite, you're basically done with the game for that month. And at a certain point, you want people to say, yeah, I'm done with the game for this month. I did what I was supposed to do. And you have other people like, well, there should be something more for me to do. But you have to make a good balance between the two. Because if you have too many people who want to do more and have more that's needed after hitting Infinite, you punish all the people who just want to get there and be done. But on the other hand, if we don't put something past Infinite, and you get all the people who can get Infinite day 1, day 2, day 10, whatever, and sit there and go, well, there's nothing else for me to do. I'm not sure how you fix that. The easiest way I could think about fixing that is making it so that there's more floors along the way. But that's still not going to help because of the fact that you need a reward for being past Infinite. The biggest reward that I could see would be like some sort of leaderboard or something like that, but that's just for the people who want to see their name somewhere. About a physical champion, it's going to be hard to get somebody to do something. Maybe you could give out a reward per month or something like that for the top 1,000 people in Infinite Rank, and they get a special card back or a special title or something like that. Like August Champion or something like that. And that's only reserved for those people who got the top 1,000 slots in Infinite Rank. They gotta have the highest reward. But then you punish people who bought. I mean, it's a lot to go through. The same problem exists with other games. Once you hit that final check mark, what can you do to encourage people? Next thing up on here is the Ultimate Variant Evolution, which is coming up in development. And this one interests me to a certain extent, because I would like to know what they're doing with it. I'd like to get more info on what's going on. Because there's some stuff where it's already like, you have a card and you like that card. Now there's a cosmic variant and an ultimate variant, and it's like, I already like how this card looks. I already like the art that's going on with this card. Yes, it'd be nice if you did stuff where if you played a nullified Thor, you get red lightning instead of the normal lightning that you get for it. But I'd like you to do other things for that. I want you to start off small. Make it so that if I play a Squirrel Girl, I get squirrels that match that Squirrel Girl. If I play a Brood, I get broods that match that Brood. If I play a morph, I get a different version of a morph if I got a different version of my morph out there. They're also talking about letting cards upgrade. And part of that is to take a pixel version avatar or title that you received and turn it into an awesome reward. And I'm really not sure how they're gonna do this with the prestige levels. I mean, is it just gonna be cosmetic stuff? You know, if I have a pixel, hey, life-changing video games. If I have a pixel of a certain character, I don't care how good that pixel is. I'm never going to use that pixel. Now, if somewhere in the prestige levels, if I do enough to that prestige pixel, maybe I get a different, like, alt art of it. Even if the alt art that's still pixel, that could be interesting. But then I want there to be, like, something that you actually have to do for the prestige. That's not just something lame like win 100 games with this pixel variant. There's some interesting stuff that you could do where you could do something where it's like Deadpool, where you have to have 2 Deadpools on the board at the same time. You know, I'd like to see more interesting cards requirements than just win X amount of matches or split X amount of time. What you would do with the titles? I don't know what you would do with the titles, because what is there to do with a title? I mean, there's more titles that you could add, but how do you do that without just putting them to collections, you know? Putting a title that says you own 100 Marvel characters that are all pixel, and here's your title, it's called Pixel Master or whatever. And then who wants to have that title? And to be honest, 9 times out of 10, maybe 10 times out of 10, I don't even know what title I have on, and I don't even know what title I'm fighting against. And there is this way around that. If you wanted to actually make titles matter more, just do what Hearthstone did. You know, when the title, when the game starts, when you're going into a match, there's a moment where you're basically meeting your opponent. You know, it'll show up and it'll say, Annabelle Fleetwood, and it'll give my title. So, what if you actually had an announcer come out, and you could have somebody do this, who's a voice actor or whatever, and they just came out, and when I came out on the actual screen, let me go to one of my decks here. We'll go with High Evolutionary, okay? So let's say Ghost Spider working from home versus Arrow, equals snap. And then you could actually hear it, and then you'd be like, oh, that's an interesting title. Oh, that's an interesting avatar that they have. I've never heard that avatar. I've never seen that avatar. And you can even add a third one up here where you could have, like, Conquest Winner. So it'd be Conquest Winner. And Conquest Winner, Arrow, equals snap. And if you wanted to add stuff, like you could have Phoenix version Magic. So you could have Conquest Winner, Phoenix version Magic, equals snap. I mean, get somebody to do the voices on them, put them right there, makes every avatar interesting. Makes every title interesting, because right now, your titles mean nothing. Your avatars really mean nothing. once in a blue moon I'll see an interesting avatar, but I've almost never seen a title where I sit there and go, ooh, I want that title. Mostly because of the fact that there's really no way for me to farm titles. And that's something else you could do to actually help out the game. In the shop, what if there were certain titles that you could just purely pick up from the shop? Get rid of this fast upgrade section with what you're doing in the future, and make these titles that you can get. You can put some titles that are older that you really can't get anymore, and let people buy them for credits, or let people buy them for gold, or let people buy them for microtransactions, or whatever monetary value you want to put onto it. So with the stuff that you've got in this developer's roadmap, there's a lot of stuff that I think you gotta change around, fix around, put back on here. I mean, one of the things that upsets me about this particular development is the smart decks. I don't want to just go into my collection, hit this plus button, and then have the smart deck button show up, click it, and then it fell in all 12 slots. Now if I put in something like Absorbing Man, and I'm like, oh, I don't know what's going to work well with Absorbing Man, I should be able to click on Absorbing Man and maybe click a button that says, okay, these cards work well with Absorbing Man as a suggestion. That'd be interesting. If that's what you're talking about with a smart deck, that's great. But if you're talking about just auto-filling out a deck, please don't. I hate the fact that other games do that. For the personalized shop, that's something that you should have had a long time ago. I would move the personalized shop and seasonal audio and swap them. I would work on the personalized shop before you work on the seasonal audio, and I would work on at least part of the social system before you work on the infinite ranking revamp. You gotta let me have a way so that if one of my friends is online, I can just play against them. There is really no way for me to go into Conquest and just hit friends and play them. You know, I can create a code, but I can't look up somebody who's online. I should be able to have her friends list. So, I really hope that somebody will kind of go through some of this stuff and look at it before you do your PC launch. Because once you do your PC launch, you're going to have people who've not played this game on mobile. And if people who haven't played this game on mobile come into this game and they don't see a friends list, they might bounce. And they're going to lose those people forever. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. And as always, remember, play full on